You that aren't familiar with me, I'm Jim Verbeck. I'm a lender relations specialist with the Eastern Pennsylvania District Office of the SBA. We're located in King of Prussia. I'm originally from Glenside, went to Abington High School. I'm very familiar with Montgomery and Bucks County that I now represent for the SBA. For those unfamiliar with our district, we're the 40 counties east of Pittsburgh. We're in Region 3. There's 10 regions across the country. And our office is located in King of Prussia. I'm gonna be going over a very, very high level presentation of the agency and what we're all about, what we offer. For those interested in a copy of the presentation, I've sent one to Amanda, and she is free to distribute it to all of you going forward. I'm going to try to give you a couple takeaways from this presentation. When I talk to individuals, normally when we're at the office and people come through the door, I try to familiarize them with a couple key resources and websites, and that's what I'm going to try to familiarize you with today. There are about 3 takeaways from this presentation, and I will point them out to you as we arrive at them. But there isn't anything you need to write down. Everything's readily available, and the presentation has some terrific links.
I was just getting ready to take notes.
For those of you that want to try to delve into this, we're all about helping individuals, start new businesses. Those that have a passion, that have specific knowledge and a dream that they want to fulfill. We're all about helping those individuals fulfill those dreams. And if you've if you've got the knowledge and you have the persistence and the grit to strike out on a new path for yourself, we want to be there for you. We want to have your back. That's one of the things that SBA originally came into being to help. We're about powering the American dream. And we do that in a number of different ways with a number of different partners. That's what essentially I'm going to be talking about today. The 4 chapters of this presentation are essentially starting a business, growing a business, learning how to expand a business, and in situations where there's disasters, we're there as the lender of last resort to help businesses recover from unfortunate sets of circumstances like the fires in California or the hurricanes in the Gulf Coast. A big part of what I'm going to mention today centers around increasing your knowledge base and increasing and showing you tools with which to do that and people that will help you do that. Are you seeing, which screen are you on? I'm sorry. Are you, okay. Do you now see a blue screen increasing your business smarts?
Yes.
I'm sorry if I hadn't, okay. There's a couple, we don't do this on our own. We have 2 significant partners in helping us deliver our message to the general public. One is the SCORE chapters around the country, which I'll get to. You have a terrific one here in Bucks County, and our SBDCs, which I'll highlight here in a second. Here's the primary, one of the first places you can go to find out more about the resources available to you through the SBA is SCORE. And the Bucks County SCORE can be accessed at buckscounty.score.org. They provide one-on-one mentorship advice. These are not people without knowledge. These are typically retirees or people that have reached a point in their career where they want to give something back, and this is a volunteer service. It's available to you free of charge. All you need to do is contact the local SCORE chapter, and they will set you up, describe the kind of business you're looking to start, and they will typically try to match you with somebody in your with specific experience in the area that you're trying to potentially start a new business. They are connected. There's a whole network of these SCORE chapters, and frequently I've heard a number of good stories of individuals starting unique businesses that have been connected with SCORE volunteers in other parts of the country where where there's specific expertise. So they really do an incredible job. There's just a number of great stories of people getting great mentorship advice and starting a new business through SCORE. The other partner besides SCORE, the other major partner is our SBDCs. We have 10 in the Eastern Pennsylvania district. They all have a university affiliation. A third of their funding comes from the host university, a third comes from the state, and a third comes from the SBA. They put on wonderful programs. All you have to do is go to any one of their sites. They have robust calendars of events with typically free or very low cost training that really only reimburses the SBDC for materials. But we're very fortunate here in the Philly area to have two, one at Temple University, one at Widener. Check out their calendars if you want to take advantage of their free training. In addition to that, we have the Women's Resource Centers, one in downtown Philly, one in Lancaster. These are great centers, much like the SBDCs. They offer wonderful counseling on everything from marketing to business setups, getting your environmentals done, HR issues, helping you hire the right people, how to hire the right people, accounting advice, manufacturing and distribution advice. One of the nice things about the Women's Resource Centers is they typically try to have their events in the evening to accommodate working women. So their calendar and their timetable is appropriately adjusted to help women. These are not exclusive to women, though. If you happen to, if you want to make use of their resources and you're a guy out there, they are open to men as well. But they do their primary focus is on helping the working woman. We're very fortunate, and I'm proud to say that I have a colleague in our office that's a veteran and is our primary conduit for helping veterans move into the business community. Her name is Shannon DeGiglio. If you're not already familiar with her, she's been at the office for over 7 or 8 years now. She also happens to be a veteran herself. She just finished, or is still, maybe she's in the second week of her 2-week commitment for training this year. She's a proud member of the National Guard, and is close to wrapping up a 20-year stint with the National Guard. She has served our country in uniform, and she also has helped a number of veterans and is very, very close, works very, very close to organizations like Boots to Business in helping vets move back into the workforce. And she's a terrific, veteran and representative of the SBA, and any vet that you know of that's looking to move back into the back into civilian life and needs a helping hand, please, please, please let me know. Contact me, and I will let Shannon put that individual in touch with Shannon. There's a number of things that she can help them out with. One of the takeaways. This is besides knowing that you have SCORE and the SBDCs out there to assist you. The number 2 takeaway that I want you to remember from all of this is there's wonderful technical assistance available free of charge. This is more than just a PowerPoint available at this website, but sba.gov/learning center. These are videos. They are extraordinarily well done. They are free of charge. They will give you literally a recipe-driven type explanation of how to write a business plan, things that you need to consider in starting your own business, managing your business. There's over 30 courses in all that cover everything from marketing to computer security and building your own website. They're about 30 minutes in length, so you can pick and choose as you may need them, but they're a wonderful resource to remember. This is my number 2 takeaway from this, and if you want, it's worth remembering this and passing it on to whoever you may come across that may want some really good instruction in any one of these subjects. My other big takeaway from this presentation is our district office website, which is simply sba.gov/PA. That gives you not only a calendar of events of everything happening in our district as it pertains to the SBA, but it also gives you a path to our resource guide. That's the key in this. That's the one thing I want to point out. Our resource guide is a wonderful tool with links built into it that allow you to get to any of the information I've provided so far. It gives you links to any of our SBDCs, SCORE chapters. It's kind of a one-stop place to go to link you up with any of the information that I'm sharing with you today. I keep it on my desktop, the link to it, so it's very, very, very valuable. And that's my personal information. If you forget anything, just please contact me, and I'll send you the link for anything I've gone over today. Okay. If you're a small business, one of the things we also, the SBA facilitates, as I said in the beginning, we help you build and expand your business. That's a big part of what we're all about. And one of the areas that we have particular individuals with incredible expertise in is doing business with the federal government. There isn't anyone that's a larger buyer of goods and services in the federal government. They buy over $500 billion worth of goods and services annually. This year, just in the Eastern Pennsylvania district, we're going to set up, according to George Tapia, one of those experts in government contracting. We're going to set a record of all years to set a record. This year, George just last week was telling me they're going to do over $1 billion in government contract work just in this district this year. It's an enormous opportunity for the right business. We are very, very fortunate. We can help you evaluate your readiness to do business with the federal government. We can assess your marketability, your structure, your experience. George and Jennifer do a class every month. They have a schedule which if you know anyone interested, we'll be more than happy to share with you. But they've got, and you can find it, the schedule on our district office's website, but they do a class every month. Normally it's held in our office in an instruction, in a nice lecture room type setting, but he's doing it virtually these days, and he's keeping to his schedule. He does a morning session of doing business with the federal government, which kind of gives gives you all the information you need to know in order to assess doing business with the federal government. And in the second half of the program, in the afternoon after lunch, typically they go into greater detail on things like the 8A program. So it's a terrific opportunity. It definitely is is worthwhile checking out for those that want to do, that have any interest in exploring that. As I said before, the federal government is the world's largest customer and buying all kinds of products and services. We can help you evaluate your readiness. And George, in his program, in his monthly program, he goes through all of these opportunities individually in terms of how someone may qualify to do business with the federal government and how they can take advantage of that opportunity. Nearly 23% of all federal government contracting has set-asides in it for small business. So there's wonderful opportunities in all these areas here. 5% of federal contracting dollars go to small disadvantaged businesses through the 8A program. 5% are set aside for women-owned small business. 3% of the federal contracting dollars are set aside for HUBZone, and 3% are set aside for service-disabled veterans. There's also an opportunity.
Jim, as we go along, if people have questions, can they ask you?
Yeah. Yeah, we have a small enough group, so if you want to ask, I'll try to see any hands raised, and we can address them. Or there will be an opportunity, at the very end, you'll be able to ask questions as well.
Okay, thank you.
I'm juggling a bunch of screens here right now, so if I miss your hand being raised or whatever, I apologize. The mentor protege program. Most government contracts have set-asides, as I already mentioned, for small business. And the mentor protege program allows a small business to team with a larger, more experienced business and compete for those set-asides. And it's kind of a two-way street. For instance, I spent some time in DC, and the way, just to give you an example, there was a government contract. This was a Defense Department, DOD contract that went out for bid. there was a small contractor involved that wanted to bid, but they had never done business with the federal government before. I believe Raytheon was aware that this small contractor wanted to bid, and they knew that they couldn't bid on it because of the set aside. They offered to mentor this small business and help them compete. And in the example I'm thinking of right now, they competed successfully for this defense contract. It was a multi-million-dollar contract. And it was a win-win. It was a win for Raytheon because they got to participate in a contract that they otherwise would have been excluded from. And the small business involved in this particular case, it was a win for them because they gained valuable experience for the future, and they won that contract and were the lead on that contract. The small business usually that's being mentored has to have a controlling position in how that contract is managed. And in the process, over time, they learn a lot of valuable skills going forward. In this particular case, it was I think after 5 or 6 years, that small business was bought out by Raytheon to the tune of several $1,000,000. So it was a win-win-win all around, and it's quite a success story. And that happens time and time and time again. The areas I think that are hottest are DoD type contracts, IT contracts, accounting, software type contracts that involve real specialized specialized product or service that frequently a small company potentially has a solution for. And if they can compete, if they feel they can compete for a specific contract, they're usually sought out by larger companies that may not feel they can compete for something without mentoring a smaller business. A real opportunity for many. The other assistant, if you're looking to expand with government contract, as I said, we have 2 great resources in our district office, George Tapia and Jennifer Tilden. But there also are procurement. There also is procurement technical assistance centers at Temple, Kutztown, Widener, and Lehigh that also can offer assistance and have terrific information available at their websites. Ultimately, when you finally determine where you're going with your small business, you may identify one of the things that the SBA is great at is helping small businesses with capital. That's what SBA loans are probably the best known. When people say SBA, they immediately think of SBA-backed loans. As many of you are aware, we don't make loans directly. We do it through our lender network. We mitigate the risk of small businesses for our lender network. But that's just one of a number of sources of capital that we associate ourselves with. There's also private investors, R&D awarded funds. And for those looking to compete for government contracts involving construction, typically we offer, if there's a need for a bond, we offer a bonding service as well through Shorty Bonds, so that even a small business can compete for those types of contracts where bonding is required. One of the really nice programs that the SBA offers is microloans, and microloans are a terrific terrific way for a small business that's just starting out, that doesn't need a lot of capital. The maximum amount of these is $50,000, but they're ideal for a small fledgling business. We have 7 micro lenders in the Eastern Pennsylvania district. They help just a number of small businesses. And they don't require a great deal of from the borrower in order to avail yourself of this source of funds. I'll give you an example. I think examples speak best to how microloans work. I worked or became aware of a small specialty beverage business that was being started by 2 young Penn State graduates. They were only 1 or 2 years out of school. They had done their homework and had already lined up a dozen different restaurants that they were doing business with this specialty beverage business, and they were chugging along pretty good. They had pretty good projections. They were this was, of course, all pre-COVID. I don't have any idea how they're doing at the moment, but I'm just using this as an example of someone that's made use of the program successfully, and they're a good example of what microlending is all about. They were out. They didn't have hardly any kind of credit history. The one guy was still living with his parents, and all they wanted to do was borrow enough money to buy a van to haul their equipment around from restaurant to restaurant. And they put on a presentation for the Montco SCORE chapter in, I guess, December of last year. I was so impressed with them and their knowledge of their particular product that I encouraged them to go talk with a microlender that I knew had enormous contacts in the restaurant industry from Allentown down to Philly. And she made them a loan for a van, essentially. And not only that, but provided them some great coaching and some wonderful new contacts of new restaurants that they hadn't tapped yet that might be prospective clients of theirs. So it was a win-win-win all around. They got a loan and were able to buy a van that they were, up until that time, had been kind of intimidated about possibly borrowing money for, and they got not only introduced to a terrific micro lender, but a micro lender that significantly helped their business moving forward. So that's what micro lending is all about. We've got a number of them here in this district. They're all trying to help small businesses like that get off the ground, and they've got a wonderful track record of doing just that. How can an SBA loan help you? As I indicated before, we mitigate the risk for lenders. We can help small businesses launch, purchase equipment, any kind of working capital need that a small business has. That's what we're all about, mitigating the risk for when it comes to lending. As I indicated before, with the small business partners of SCORE and of the SBDCs, we're all about education. We're all about helping you develop business plans, develop pro forma financial statements and projections. And that's what our partners are best at doing. Your SCORE mentors will help you do that. The SBDCs will help you do that. The Learning Center resources that I pointed out as one of the key takeaways will help you do that. You need, you know, with those resources, any business can flesh out and create the kind of plans and pro forma financials that would be required in before sitting down in front of a banker. The banker is going to look at the 5 C's. These are the 5 C's of credit worthiness. Bankers, you know, they will be evaluating your character. You know, how much knowledge do you have of the kind of business that you're looking to open? How much preparation you've done. They're going to look at the cash flow of the plans of your business plan. How much, you know, have you thought through everything you need to think through in terms of evaluating your business model and the amount of cash that it will generate? They're going to assess your collateral. What are you, how much, what is the collateral going to be behind this loan? Besides personal guarantee, is there additional collateral you can bring to bear? Capitalizations, how much, what are the assets of this company going to be? And then the economic conditions. Obviously, you know, bankers, if you're looking to open up a restaurant these days, a banker's going to be a lot more critical, or certainly assess your plan with a lot more scrutiny than if you were opening up a drive-in movie theater. Just as an example. Those are obviously 2 extreme examples, but you know, that's essentially the 5 C's of credit. One of the other great programs with that are readily available to you once you've developed your plan, and let's say you've you kind of feel like you know what your business is all about. Maybe you're just looking to expand or start a business. One of the great things that we now offer is the SBA .gov lender match. You can go to this website, describe your literally in 15 minutes, describe the needs of your business, and talk about, you know, answer, I think it's roughly 12 questions. And within 48 hours, if a lender is interested in what you've described, they've got 48 hours to respond to you. They will come knocking at your door to ask additional questions. So that's a great facility that's now available to those that are looking to do looking at our programs and want to see if they've got and want to try to find a lender. Our first advice, though, whenever someone is looking for additional capital, is to talk to their current banker first. That's the banker that knows you best. They're the ones that are most likely going to want to help you before anyone else. So talk to your my advice is always talk to your current banker first. If you want to explore other banks, then use Lender Match, or go to our resource guide, which is from our district office website. Pull up the resource guide, and there's a list of lenders by county. Find another lender if you need to that's closest to you. And our list of lenders by county is one of those places that you can tap. There's a few other things. I'm just going to run through these because I think my time's, I don't want to go too much over my time because I want to leave some time for questions. But there are other means of capital. The small business investment companies, they're kind of they're available for small businesses that are looking for. It's kind of like a Shark Tank network. They help fledgling companies run off or get started with an equity interest in their business. Oops. And then there's the Small Business Innovative Research and Small Business Technology Transfer Program. These are programs that are usually affiliated with universities where if a small business is usually involved in one of these fields, there are government grants to encourage innovation and in these programs. There's 11 federal agencies that participate in these programs and have set-asides for these. That's another funding source. They're specialized programs. I'm not doing them justice here, but if you go to this website, they explain each one of these programs in much greater detail. Shorty bonds, as I described before, we do offer shorty bonds for those government contracts that require bonding. We offer assistance in that area. And then real quickly, the takeaway from those interested in international trade are we've got two gentlemen that Theo Samuel Hunt is with the SBA Office of International Trade. He's located downtown, is very, very knowledgeable. Anybody interested in doing work internationally, both of these gentlemen, Theo and Tony Savalas, who works for the Department of Commerce, their offices are literally about 40 or 50 feet apart. They are a great place to go. I've sent a couple people recently, brought them to their attention. They're helping them do work in India right now. And they've got wonderful contacts. They know who to, Tony has, through the Department of Commerce, has contacts literally globally. And Theo, can help a small business connect with those that have, those institutions that have an appetite and have some, like in the case of the business I'm thinking of right now, I believe it was Citibank that Theo connected them with, that has a branch in the city in India where this particular individual was looking to do business. So it's
for just one quick second, Jim, I just want to, only because we only have it looks like 4 more minutes. So what I want to say is, if people don't put their questions in the chat, they can definitely email you the questions as well, correct? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. And I'm happy to email.
The only thing I wanted to make mention of is, with all these disasters occurring nationally, I just want to point out there is a division. The Office of Disaster Assistance takes enormous pride in delivering its services when, once the fires are out and once the floodwaters have receded and the hurricanes have passed, it's the SBA that goes in there and kickstarts these communities and these local economies and gets them back to running again. And they provide an enormous resource. They are the only, we're the only ones that have the capabilities of going into these disaster-stricken areas and offer the kind of assistance we do. And they do it really well, and they do it with enormous pride. And that's kind of what I wanted to leave you with at the tail end. That's SBA from about 30,000 feet. I'm there's my email address for any of you that might want to email me a question, and I'll be happy to take any questions you might have here while we're still in the line. So sorry if it seemed rushed at different spots. There was a lot of information there, but I wanted to provide as much of an overview as I possibly could in this amount of time that I was afforded. So,
Jim, I
you did a
just
great
have to
job.
say thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Obviously, the SBA is so critical to probably most all of the businesses in the chamber at this point. So your presentation is not only timely, but thank you for excellently prepared, and thank you for being open to our emails.
oh, no problem. My pleasure.
Well, thank you. Believe it or not, we're having a day of Zoominars, and it is just about 1:15. So I think, Jim, that you really packed a lot in, and we so appreciate it. And thank you all for coming. And email Jim. If also, let me know if you want this PowerPoint, because as Jim said, I'm happy to forward it. And thank you, Jim, and thank you all for coming.
And we'll see you maybe tomorrow for the quote lunch and the quote where we have the head of the Pennsylvania Health System speaking.
Absolutely. We may even see you in 15 minutes at the Pennsylvania Workforce Zoom.
There is that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.